if you just have unrealistic expectations, if you just expect that, the way that you saw your mom treat your dad is how your partner is supposed to treat you, and they're a completely different person, you're setting yourself up for challenges. You've got to recognize what you're bringing to the co-parenting relationship. So It always starts looking in the mirror.
Welcome to the Dad Central Show, hosted by Ed Gow Jr. and Drew Solon. We know dads want to see their kids succeed, but they don't always know how to get there. This show gives dads the tools they need to raise confident and successful kids.
What is up, everybody? It's Ed Gow Jr. of the Dad Central Show and Dad Central. I want to correct myself. Hanging out, causing trouble, taking over the world, one dad at a time. No, helping dads one dad at a time with my partner here,
Drew Solon of the Dad Central Show and Dad Central.
See, we're in unison this time.
We got it.
We're in unison.
Only took 50 episodes or so. What are we at? For me to get it, not for you, for me to get it. Thanks for your patience, Ed. I am a slow learner at times, so it's really good having you give me some grace.
Well, I think all fathers need some grace because, again, fatherhood is not an easy thing, and it's a continuous thing. I don't think dads stop being dads, even the ones that are not record. There's a dad piece in them. So you know what? We have to give each other grace. How many episodes we done now?
I don't know. I just we've been doing this for a year, right? So it was last Father's Day that we launched our first show, right? Just before with Trevor Linden, which, an awesome conversation. So it's we've done at least, I'd say, we're on show number 27 of the season 2. And I think we had almost 20 in season 1.
So you know what we need to do, and we'll do this offline. When we have a 50th, if we're not there yet, we should make a 50th show and sort of
it's coming up then. Okay.
Yeah, and do that, and just some memories, some moments, share people how this came about.
The bloopers. Should we do the bloopers? There's lots of them of mine. That's why you give me so much grace.
No, you know what? Hey, we're both certified coaches, and one of the things as a coach, non-judgmental. Aha!
Oh, so kind of you, Ed. Thank you. So you're not judging me.
It's all right. Well, we better say this. The Dad Central Show is sponsored by Dove Plus Care. Dove Plus Care cares to be the best of a man, because when men care for themselves and others, there's a positive impact. But I really think I think we certainly should do that when if we haven't passed it yet, have our 50th show and just recollect some of the memories, some of the bloopers, some of the oops that have gone on through it. I think one of the things, if we can do it, is do a thank you list of every person that's been on the show. Thank them.
Absolutely. Love
do it. Do all and make sure they're all part of the thank you list, and thank the people, like the people that you guys don't see. Homa, Marco, you don't know who those are, but you'll find out who they are on the 50th show. Tabish, yes,
as well.
Yeah, so there's people you haven't seen that we're going to give big shout outs to on the 50th show. So if we pass it, the next show we do, or one of the next shows we do, we'll talk about the story, talk about some of the background, etc. If we haven't hit the 50th yet, if Drew approves, we'll do that for the 50th show. Is that fair?
Sounds fair to me.
Good stuff. So Drew and I, hand solo again today, and we're going to be talking about, I just saw an article recently called How Moms and Dads View Each Other as Co-Parents Affect Kids. And this study that was done by the Ohio State University, yes, that's the way you have to say it, the Ohio State University, I think that's actually trademarked now, says that poor outcomes when dad's unhappy with co-parenting relationship. And
poor outcomes for who?
Yeah, there's the question. So how mothers and fathers I'm just going to read different experts of the study. I'm going to put the link up in in the screen in just a second is how mothers and fathers see their kids become. So it's the income on the kids. So researchers found that in a sample of low-income couples, children have the best outcomes when both parents saw their co-parenting relationship as highly positive, and worse when both parents viewed their relationship as poor, which is not a big surprise. But one of the things that we're blessed to, and Drew's in, as mentioned, periodically, he's in a co-parenting relationship. Drew, your lens from personal experience, say it as it is, when it comes to co-parenting from your end, and especially as a dad, a loving father when it comes to co-parenting.
Well, I mean, my first clarification question is the article referring to co-parenting in like when the parents are separated, or are they referring to co-parenting just as, you're both parenting your children and you're in the relationship
Okay.
together, right? Because there's obviously a difference, but I think the point of the article is essentially, how both co-parents view the relationship will have an effect on how they probably exist in the relationship and will ultimately impact the children. And I'm going to guess in a less than positive way if it's less than positive, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit more of the outcomes here, saying the participants in the youth study were 2,900 low-income couples in 7 U.S. states who took part in the Supporting Healthy Marriages
So
program.
they're
Yeah.
couples.
Now,
So
all
they're not
couples had,
separated.
right. All
Not
couples
separated,
had,
not, yep.
yeah, all couples had a child under 5 years old. Participants were asked about their co-parenting relationship with their partner. In other words, how they related to each other as parents. Now, the lead person, research person is Shara Scope Sullivan, said, quote, co-parents with high quality relations provide emotional support to one another and back up each other's parenting decisions. And then 18 months after the couples reported on their co-parenting relationship, they were asked to report on their child's social competence and behavioral adjustment. So based on the reports from mothers and fathers about their co-parenting relationship, research defined 4 co-parenting groups. The largest, 43% of the sample, were parents who both saw their co-parenting relationship as highly positive. Next group, 32%, were parents who saw the relationship as moderately positive, but mothers were less positive about their father's co-parenting. The lead researcher, Ms. Scope Sullivan, said, quote, their children were nearly as well adjusted as parents who were both positive about their co-parenting relationship. And then she says that the fact that these groups made the majority of the sample was significant finding. So they're saying in this study, 65% of the couples thought the co-parenting relationship was positive or highly positive. Interesting.
Let's hear about group 3 and group 4.
Yeah. So the next largest group, 16%, were those who reported a moderate co-parenting relationship, but fathers were less positive than the mothers. And then the fourth group, 9%, consisted of couples who reported low quality co-parenting relations with the mothers especially critical of fathers. These two groups had children that were less well adjusted than kids in other groups. One question the study raises is why children are less well adjusted when fathers are less positive than mothers about their co-parenting relationship.
Okay, so for me to summarize that just for myself, first group, happy couple, and they view it as positive. Next group, mom is not as happy with dad, but dad still views it pretty positive, and the mom still views it as pretty positive. Next group, dad's not as happy with mom, and mom is not as happy with dad. So there's a slight difference. It's not the inverse of group 2. It's slightly different in terms of the mom is seemingly less positive, I guess. And then the last one is they're both unhappy, essentially, or don't view the other person or they view the relationship very positively. Yeah, it makes sense. And so, your question was from my experience. Well, I've got a unique lens, right? I was married for 14 and a half years and in a co-parenting as a married couple, for how old were the girls? 7 years. They were almost 8 years. Yep. Right. Then it's a high conflict separation, really, really not nice at all. False accusations, you name it. And then I'm now in this new relationship where I have a new partner, and we have a baby together, under 5. But I'm also now dealing with my children's mother, my ex-wife. And so I'll share that the relationship from my perspective is critical. That's why I ask that question a lot on our show to our guests when I hear them talk about the relationship with the children's mother. And because I know it was critical. For me, it was very important. The word that I liked to use and was conveyed how important I felt was unity, right? We needed to be united when it came to this journey and role of parenting. And it doesn't mean that we would always agree. It doesn't mean that we'd always have the same perspective. But when push came to shove, we needed to be united in our goals, and we need to be united in our commitment to working towards those goals. And we need to be united when it came to making a decision for the children. So we can do all of our disagreement leading up to that, but we needed to be united. And so when you take unity out, and unity wasn't in existence, it created tension for me because I could feel the fact that we weren't united. And that was problematic because the children then pick up on that. And the children begin to play off of that. And they begin to say, well, I can go to mom for this because she's different than dad. And so, and she'll view it differently, dad. And then when that disunity begins to creep into the actual, like in the moment by moment parenting, it created for me even more tension because things that I felt were, it's probably best to talk about it as an example without being too descriptive. But an example might be, we want to present in a united way in front of the children, and it's okay to ask, like, to have questions, but to essentially in front of the child create like a disagreement or even a challenging perspective in a disrespectful way really shows the child, whoa, what's going on here? And for me, when that happened in the relationship with my ex-wife, I noted it, and I would often say, excuse me, could we talk in private, please? Can we have a private conversation? Because it didn't need to be escalated in front of the children because it just perpetuates that. And for me, it needed to be, we should have a conversation about this so we can get on the same page and then go back in front of the children and present as a united front. And so I can say from my perspective, based on that research, I wasn't as happy when those types of things happened. And I felt quite often that there was real disregard there for the principle of unity. And I felt less positive in terms of being able to engage with my partner, which then impacted how I would sometimes engage with the kids. So absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing in regards, because I know it's not easy, and it's not easy. Bottom line.
It's one of the hardest things you do. And
absolutely. I agree.
But it's so important, I think, is where I'm coming from.
Are you a dad who feels like you're juggling a million things at once? Balancing work, family, and personal goals can be overwhelming. But what if there was a solution? That's why we created our new fatherhood community called Dad Mentor. For over 20 years, Dad Central has built practical tools to help dads. We understand the challenges you face and provide the support you need to thrive. The biggest complaint we hear from dads is there's no dedicated support for their specific needs. But not anymore. Our new community, called Dad Mentor, is here to transform your fatherhood experience. Imagine feeling in control, staying calm and patient when your children misbehave. Picture yourself connected to your children, guiding them with confidence and watching them succeed. When you join Dad Mentor, you'll have access to a community of like-minded dads committed to their dad journey, just like you. You'll also get the Dad's Roadmap. This is a step-by-step plan to help you go from unsure to unstoppable as a dad. Monthly masterclasses and Q&A sessions. You'll get answers and know exactly what to do straight from experts. monthly group meetups that connect dads over common topics, a dad's resource library, curated webinars, podcasts, or guides built by Dad Central to help you grow as a parent. And finally, you'll also get exclusive members-only offers and events. Now, many dads do try to do this fatherhood thing alone, only to find themselves trapped in frustration and strained relationships. Then they may turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms like drugs, alcohol, or other distractions, leaving their family and their own well-being at risk. We don't want you to reach that point of regret. Take steps to invest in you and your family today. Join Dad Mentor and go from stressed, tired, and overwhelmed to confident, calm, and connected. Join us today by going to dadcentral.ca/dads.
When it comes to co-parenting, from your lens, what suggestions would you give for the dads out there that are in a co-parenting situation?
Well, I think my bias as a coach, my own personal experiences really make me say, the first thing you got to do is look in the mirror. And you have to know and understand yourself, and know and understand your goals, know and understand your triggers, know and understand what's going on for you, so that you can then make choices in how you then engage in relationship. If you just have unrealistic expectations, if you just expect that, the way that you saw your mom treat your dad is how your partner is supposed to treat you, and they're a completely different person, you're setting yourself up for challenges. If you are selfish and unwilling to recognize that you've got a partner and a family that is needy, you've got to recognize what you're bringing to the co-parenting relationship. So
Sure.
it always starts looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Then it's about understanding and listening first, so that you can understand the other person who you're in a relationship with, and understanding their triggers, and understanding their goals, and understand their passions, understanding their background, understanding how that contributes to them being the way they are. And then you have to not try and fix them.
Yeah.
Not try and tell them, here's what your problem is. Not point out all the ways that they failed or that they're not good, you have to meet them where they are at. And that is essentially empathy. You have to, and it doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean that you're exactly like, it doesn't mean you agree. But you can empathize with what it would feel like to be in their position or to have gone through what they've gone through. And then you have to learn to communicate in a very healthy, respectful way, so that you can move together towards a better understanding and a healthier relationship. So those are my big three, right? Know yourself, know your partner, and communicate and build a healthy relationship.
Good stuff. One of the results of the survey said that the results suggest that practitioners, those who work with fathers, those who work with parents, may want to pay special attention when fathers are less positive than mothers about their co-parenting relationship. So, as Drew said, if you are in a co-parenting relationship, you're a dad. If you're not feeling it, for lack of a better term, speak with someone. Speak with someone about it. Don't keep it inside you, because keeping it inside you and you're not favorable about it, people will see it, and your kids will see it especially.
Well, I'm going to add this. You're hurting yourself if you just keep that stuff locked inside, because
Yes.
that was me. I felt I gotta, this is my cross to bear. Like, I gotta, this is mine. I gotta deal with it. Right. And had I been more, and I'd spoken with the counselor, and he was pretty clear with me what he felt. And so, anyway, so we won't go into that story. But being able to be able to get some of that out is going to be helpful. And you have to remember, you can never change another person.
Nope.
So, if you're less happy, then, it's about you working on yourself to figure out what is doable for you. We had Dr. John Olaf. He's the Canada Research Chair for Men's Health Promotion, and he's done some really good research on men developing relationships or staying in relationships. And we haven't. I don't think we've had him on to talk about it on the show, but some of the insight was that men tend to just stay in less than healthy relationships, and they just hope that it'll get better, and they just kind of suffer in silence. They don't reach out, they don't talk to other people. So, it's important that even the process of being able to at least communicate your dissatisfaction and find some support for yourself can actually improve your ability to engage in that relationship. It might even improve the relationship. And of course, again, you can't change another person. But why this is so important is because of the children, because of the difference it makes for them. Because you said those two groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those top two groups.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to move, if you're in the third or fourth, you want to move into those top two groups.
Absolutely. I always say one of my comeback phrases are, there's still too many dads, fathers, and men that are screaming and nothing's coming out. So it's really important to find someone to get help and assistance, because you're eating away at yourself. And not only is it impacting yourself when you're in that situation as a dad or a father, but you're impacting others. Because as we know, or you may not know, kids are watching you. Even when you don't think they're watching you, they're watching you. So want to thank Drew for sharing some insight from a personal journey in regards to this challenging at times subject. So any final words, Drew, you'd like to share with our audience before we sign off on this one?
To me, the most important is that you learn and understand what a healthy relationship is. This was my greatest learning, because I was actually in a very unhealthy relationship. And the reason is because some of what I was doing was unhealthy. So when I say this, you need to know yourself first and heal yourself first.
Yeah.
My unhealthy need for connection, it was part of the challenge in perpetuating an unhealthy relationship. And so that is so important. I'd say understand what a healthy relationship is, understand the signs of a healthy relationship, and correspondingly understand the signs of an unhealthy relationship, and then work on yourself and invite, not demand, don't expect, don't tell, invite your partner into the process of working on healing yourselves and growing yourselves to be the best versions that you can be, both individually, but then together.
So as we wind up today, a few things. I know, Drew, talk about Dad Mentor.
Well, we know that dads are looking for support. We know that dads gain significant benefit when they're connected with other dads. And we know that there are limited resources for dads out there. That's what Dad Mentor is about. It's bringing dads together, providing them resources, and bringing them into community to gain the significant benefits to their health, well-being, parenting, everything. And so Dad Mentor is that. It's Dad Central's offering of a membership community where you can gain access to our resources that are curated in a dad's resource library. You get access to a monthly masterclass led by topical experts. You get access to a community of like-minded dads where we have monthly meetups where you have opportunities to ask questions, share your stories, or hear stories from other dads, all in the service of helping us show up at our best for the people who matter most. And then ultimately you got some access to exclusive member-only benefits and a few other things like that. So Dad Mentor is essentially here to help guide and support fathers in their most important role.
Wonderful. Thank you. Excellent stuff.
Oh, and I guess I should say, Dad Mentor was launched around Father's Day. We invited members, we welcomed them, we've got things rolling, and we closed registration back down, but we are opening it up again because it's now time to bring the next group of fathers who believe in their fatherhood role and want to engage with other dads. So if that's you and you're listening, come join us at Dad Mentor starting in mid-August. It's going to be open for enrollment again, only for a short period of time, but it'll be, we're looking forward to joining and bringing new dads on.
Wonderful. Good stuff. If you want to catch more of these epic conversations, dadcentral.ca/podcasts. Also, email if you have suggestions, questions, topics, people to bring to our attention. Absolutely. And two more things. One, go to Apple and rate our conversations. We want to hear what you have, feedback. Please write I know you're going to write great comments. Just write some great comments and great reviews about what we do. And also, if you want a pile of free resources, dadcentral.ca/, that's the place to go. So as always, thanks for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to listen to what we have to share to help dads and their families. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Thanks for watching.